President Trump, in a personal phone call to a grieving military father, offered him $25,000 and said he would direct his staff to establish an online fundraiser for the family, but neither happened, the father said. Chris Baldridge, the father of Army Corporal Dylan Baldridge, told The Washington Post that Trump called him at his home in Zebulon, North Carolina, a few weeks after his 22-year-old son and two fellow soldiers were gunned down by an Afghan police officer in a suspected insider attack June 10. Their phone conversation lasted about 15 minutes, Baldridge said, and centered for a time on the father's struggle with the manner in which his son was killed. I said, "Me and my wife would rather our son died in trench warfare," Baldridge said. "I feel like he got murdered over there." Trump's offer of $25,000 adds another dimension to the president's relations with Gold Star families, an honorific given to those whose loved ones die while serving in support of the nation's wars. The disclosure follows questions about how often the president has called or written to grieving military families. The Washington Post contacted the White House about Baldridge's account on Wednesday morning. Officials declined to discuss the events in detail. President Trump's response to the deaths of 4 soldiers in Niger is causing an uproar after Representative Frederica S. Wilson DeFlaw said he told Sergeant Law David Johnson's widow that her husband knew what he was signing up for. Jenny Stars/The Washington Post. But in a statement Wednesday afternoon, White House spokeswoman Lindsay Walters said the check has been sent. "It's disgusting that the media is taking something that should be recognized as a generous and sincere gesture, made privately by the president, and using it to advance the media's biased agenda." Trump said this week that he has called every family of somebody that's died, and it's the hardest call to make. At least 20 Americans have been killed in action since he became commander-in-chief in January. The Washington Post interviewed the families of 13 and found that his interactions with them vary. About half had received phone calls, they said. The other said they had not heard from the president. In his call with Trump, Baldridge, a construction worker, expressed frustration with the military survivor benefits program. Because his ex-wife was listed as their son's beneficiary, she was expected to receive the Pentagon's $100,000 death gratuity, even though I can barely rub 2 nickels together, he told Trump. The president's response shocked him. He said, "I'm going to write you a check out of my personal account for $25,000, and I was just floored," Baldridge said. "I could not believe he was saying that, and I wish I had it recorded because the man did say this." He said, "No other president has ever done something like this, but he said, I'm going to do it." The president has faced worsening backlash since details emerged of his phone call Tuesday with the widow of Sergeant Law David D. Johnson, who was killed October 4 alongside 3 other U.S. soldiers in Niger. After not addressing the incident for 12 days, Trump on Monday falsely claimed that previous presidents never or rarely called the families of fallen service members. In fact, they did so regularly. Representative Frederica S. Wilson, Democrat, Florida, recounted call of President Trump with Sergeant Law David D. Johnson's widow, Myshia Johnson. She was in the car with Johnson when the president called and said she heard the conversation on speakerphone. WPLG Local 10 via AP Rep. Frederica S. Wilson, Democrat, Florida, said Trump called Johnson's widow, Myshia Johnson, on Tuesday and said her husband knew what he was signing up for, but I guess it hurts anyway. Wilson was riding in a limousine with the wife and said she heard the conversation on speakerphone. Trump denied the allegation Wednesday morning. But the fallen soldier's childhood guardian, Tawanda Jones Johnson, told The Washington Post that she also was in the car when the White House called, and said that President Trump did disrespect my son and my daughter and also me and my husband. In all, 7 Gold Star families contacted by the Post said they have had phone conversations with Trump. Most said they appreciated the gesture. 4 families said they have not received a call and were upset. 1 said Trump had not called but that they knew the late soldier would not want his death politicized. An additional family said that it had corresponded with the White House but declined to elaborate. The Associated Press reached one other family, that of Army Spec. Etienne Murphy, 22. His mother said she received neither a call nor a letter from the president. Baldridge said that after the president made his $25,000 offer, He joked with Trump that he would bail him out if he got arrested for helping. The White House has done nothing else other than send a condolence letter from Trump, the father said. I opened it up and Rhea